Hey everybody, Crypto Mentor 99, and it is the morning of January the 25th, and as promised, I'm doing an interview with Morton Nielsen, founder and CEO of Biometrids. I am thankful that he had the time to spend with us this morning. It's late afternoon in Denmark, and Morton, thanks so much for wanting to come on the show.
I'm glad you would have me here.
Yeah, and you know what? We were talking during the pre-interview that about a month ago I was looking at an article on the web, not so much about facial recognition, and we'll get into that, your project here in a minute, but it was about like identity theft and basically people being ripped off, like cheated and the next day I was looking at ICOs and I came across Biometrids. And I'm reading from the executive summary from the white paper. Biometrids platform is an online ID on the blockchain that uses machine learning for facial recognition. The usage of the blockchain assures everyone is anonymous, but still valid to conduct transactions with one another. How in the world did a little boy in Denmark get interested in facial recognition on the blockchain?
Well, it's kind of a long story. It all started when I came into crypto. I saw these opportunities to doing business. I'm an entrepreneur, and I love to start things. So I was looking around for kind of business opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, my first idea was something like a bank,
Okay.
where you could switch money. How the banks are doing this in the blockchain today. So it started there, and I worked on an idea that should make it easy, so you could transfer money between when you used your card, you could just pay with the card, and then the crypto would be exchanged directly
Okay.
when you use the card. Well, that was a bit too complex to make, so we switched to another idea. The next idea was to make a ticket system,
Okay.
where all the tickets were in the chain, and every ticket would be unique. You couldn't manipulate the tickets or sell them um, to a higher price than you have bought them,
Sure.
and so on and so on. But that idea just died. So we went to the next idea, and that was the idea where you would like making you, if you have a furniture, a design of furniture, you would know if you bought it used from another person, you would like to know that this was an original product.
Yes.
Yeah. So we worked on that idea, but there was so many complexities about this, and one of these complexities was the identity problem.
Okay.
You couldn't identify the seller
Right.
without a third party,
Right.
and that meant that you need to have some third party always to identify the seller, and that's where I came up with the idea for biometrics. If you use the facial recognition, you would be the third party. Your face would be the third party. Your face is unique. My face is unique. Everybody's face is unique.
Okay. So let's back up here a second. So growing up, and even as a young man, and you're still young now, so you're an entrepreneur, right? So you're always thinking about starting things. So even though maybe early on you had a couple, what we say in the United States, a couple of false starts, you kept on going, your creative mind kept on thinking, and then you landed on this facial recognition project, for lack of a better word.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I saw also that uh, what is it called? The hardware
Yeah.
for doing this was developed enough now to do this. We need more development to make
Yeah.
it 100%
Yeah.
perfect. But when we have this, it will be a unique product. There is few steps that needs to be developed 100%. But when they are there, this will be one of the most common things, I think.
Right. Well, I remember, I didn't say this on the pre-interview, but I remember as a little boy, I'm 60 years old, grew up in the United States. I can remember as a little boy in school, like junior, like 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, talking about, and even into high school, excuse me, the teachers talking about how one day our faces, you know, this idea seems so far away, but your face would be recognized by like a computer, you know? And I thought, oh my gosh, like I can't even imagine that day. And it's and now I'm here sitting with you 50 years later talking about, you know, facial recognition on the blockchain. I feel like I'm in 8th grade again as a little boy going.
It's crazy how the world evolves over time.
So one of the things, and I've got your white paper scattered on my kitchen table. So I always tell my listeners, hey, some guy or some gal, some woman could have a great idea, but you got to look at who's on the team, okay?
Yeah.
So again, I'm sorry that I can't pronounce all these names. How did you find the team to surround you with this great idea of facial recognition?
Well, me and Daniel and Jolene, I know them. I have known them for a long time, and I know their what's it called? Their skills.
Sure.
Their skills in different areas, and that's why I started talking with them to set them on the team. And the others I have met through other projects I have been working on and so on. So I know them through the internet.
Okay. So
and this is people I have been working with before in other projects.
Okay, so Daniel, he's the business developer and partnership, and Jolene is the marketing manager. Are both of those people in Denmark?
Yeah, they are in Denmark.
Okay. Okay. So where is everything now? Like bring everybody up to date with where you are with certain projects and what you're working on and anything else that maybe you want to say.
Well, we've had a rough start on our ICO. We launched it way too fast.
Okay.
We gave ourselves like a month to advertise for the ICO, for the pre-ICO. Then we held the pre-ICO and it went terribly wrong.
Okay.
Let's just say it like that. Well, then we worked on a few things and we have just held a private sale, which will help us develop
Sure.
It is the main ICO. So now we can go out and advertise in this market, in today's market, in ICOs. You need to have advertising. You can't run an ICO without advertising. There is too much focus on big ICOs, and if you don't advertise, you will just be lost in the crowd.
So how would I say? I'm not bragging. Okay, I'm not bragging about the research that I do, but one of the things that I say on my YouTube channel, not in every video, but, and this is a compliment to you, Morton, I like to talk about the ICOs that not everybody's talking about, you know, like not the ones that have all the advertising dollars and, you know, they're the first pop up when you go on a website or something, but some of the ICOs, some people like yourself that have fantastic and wonderful ideas, but maybe they're in another country, or maybe they're in Russia, or maybe they're in Australia, because it's unfortunate, and I'm kind of sad to say this, people in the United States, sometimes we only think about what's in the United States, right?
Yeah, I think that's the most common for many countries.
Okay, well, my friends are really bad about that. And maybe not having to do with cryptocurrency, but they don't care what's going on in Europe. They don't care what's going on in Russia. And I'm like, I said to my friends, you got to expand your borders. So when I saw your ICO, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is, you know, again, this in the United States is kind of a joke. We say it's the best idea since sliced bread. You know, it's, you know, so what were some of the challenges that you overcame to get you where you are now? Like with the pre-ICO, maybe was it just marketing?
Well, it's marketing is one of the big difference we will do now. If we need to if we want to get our word out, we need to do advertising. We have spent a lot of time putting our word on forums and so on.
Okay.
But we need to get out of through other channels, I would say.
Okay. So you're on a lot of social media at the present time, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. 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 So let me get into the white paper a little bit, which again, I just found fascinating. So for the people at home, I'm on page 5 of the white paper. Okay. And one of the things that, and it's at the bottom of the page, Morton, it says, an estimate points to 1.1 billion people in the world who are unable to prove their identity. This is 1 out of 7 individuals. In Africa alone, the estimate is around 502 million people. So there's a lot of people in underdeveloped areas that can't say or can't prove who they are, right?
Yes. That's right. That's right. And it's a very, very, very big problem worldwide that you can't identify yourself. So this will our system will also help these people out to have an identity.
Okay, so can you walk us through, not necessarily in a country like Africa, but could you walk us through a little bit like what that could look like? So let's say, you know, someone wants to prove their identity, like what would be like a use case, like an actual situation where you guys would be helping someone with their identity?
Well, the first thing is our platform will be with an API, so other companies can develop
Right.
things up against our platform and use our system. So in this case, there would be another company developing up against our platform to solve this problem. But a use case could be if a refugee comes to another
Right.
country,
Right.
then he can identify himself through this system, and then the first time he will be recognized in the system, and afterwards you will always know who this person is when he identifies himself again. He can't change or buy a fake pass or something like that passport.
Okay. And you don't need to name any names. Are you and the team in the process of kind of contacting people like that to try to not sell your idea to them, but kind of get your name out there?
We are working on different partnerships at the moment. We can't say any names, but we are working on different partnerships with companies that could use our platform.
Okay. Well, you're a little bit like my son. My son's early 30s, and he's an entrepreneur. And even as a little boy, he had some success and then some failures and then successes and failures. And you kind of remind me of my son because my son never quit and he's self-employed and in the field that he's in, which is not cryptocurrency, he's starting, even as a young man, he's starting to rise to the top and get a
Yeah.
name for himself. So I appreciate it when people say, hey, I failed in these areas, but I never quit. I just kept on going, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It's very important that you get up on your feet again when you fall. That's very important. That's one of my own things. I love starting things, and sometimes you fail, and sometimes you win. And when you fail, you just need to get up again and try once more. Never give up. Just go on.
Yeah, that's good, Morton. So I'm on page 17 of the white paper. Okay.
Yes.
I love these white papers. So another thing that I liked about the white paper and I liked about the ICO, and I'm not just saying this, I'm being totally honest, and I like about you is that you were real open, honest, and transparent on page 17, well, throughout the white paper, but on page 17 of the white paper, it's a statement for investors. And you say, what is important to us is to let the investors know that this technology will take some time to evolve and this project is not going to be successful tomorrow. So I think a lot of people, they want an idea to be an instant success before they invest in it. But this is one of those projects where it's more, over time, it's going to take, or it's going to have more momentum and gain speed and popularity, I think.
It will take some time to develop and evolve the system to fully do as we want it to do. We can make the first parts, as you can see in our roadmap. We can do those steps as in the roadmap, but it will not be 100% perfect.
Sure.
Until the system is fully evolved with the facial recognition. So it's the system the system use something called nodal points. Nodal points is small areas in your face where it recognize your face from that, and that the system needs a lot more nodal points to be 100%.
Right.
It's about 90% at the moment, 95 maybe. But so it's have still a little before it's 100%. But when it's 100%, it will could tell the difference between everyone in the world.
So you addressed this next question I'm going to ask you in the white paper, but I'm going to have you answer it. But you guys had it written in the white paper. So what would you say to someone who's listening that says, hey, why didn't you start your ICO when you had a finished product? Like, why are you coming out now, even though the technology isn't fully developed yet?
Well, I can explain that very simple.
Yeah.
My figure on ICOs is that ICOs can help businesses like this do things you wouldn't could do without this money.
Yeah.
A lot of exciting and interesting ideas are coming into ICOs, and these ideas wouldn't be anything without the possibility to go out and do an ICO and collect cash to do all these things. That's the difference between doing an ICO and doing a business angel model. The business angel model, they have this strict line, and they say you need to do this and all of this, and then we will help you out. When you do an ICO, you have a lot of small investors coming in. They put in their money, and of course it's risky to invest in ICOs. But those products that have the succeed on the other side, they will profit a lot more for the investors than a business angel model.
Yeah, and another thing, I can't find it in front of me here on my kitchen table, but you were very specific in your white paper. Oh, here it is. You were very specific in your white paper about the budget, like your projected budget, and like the office locations, the salary programmer 1, 2, 3, designer. I mean, you were, to my knowledge, and I probably read, I don't want to exaggerate, maybe I've read 100 white papers. to my knowledge, yours is the only one that had a budget. And not only that, your budget's like 7 pages long. So it's not like you're just saying, we want to raise this amount of money, and then you can't back it up with facts, you know?
Exactly, exactly. It's very important to us. As you said, we were very open about our project, and that is one of the things that we really want to be. We want to be open about this project and tell people everything, instead of just saying, okay, give us your money, and then we maybe build something. We know we can do this from the budget and the development that are missing, and so on and so on. We know we can do this. The only thing is we do not have the money to do it. So that's why we are coming out, asking people for helping us develop this. Instead, they get coins in our company. And
right. Okay. So
then we all will win in the last end.
Right. So another thing that was in the white paper, and the reason I keep on referring to it, because that's kind of where people should go to learn more about you and the company and the project. Could you tell me and our viewers here, what's your plan for opening maybe an office in Dubai?
We have a plan of opening an office in Dubai right after the ICO ends.
Oh wow! Okay.
There is a lot of complexities in Denmark about startups like this. If we did a startup like this and we kept the money in Denmark, they will be taxed 50%.
50?
So we are yes.
50? 50.
Yes.
Whoa. Okay.
50. And that's the minimum. It could be more. It could be more. But to protect the investors' money, we will start an office in Dubai. I will move down there myself and start an office, and then we will develop everything from there.
Okay. So just a couple more questions, please. So if someone's listening to this, right, and I'm going to have all the links below in this video. But if someone's watching this and says, hey, I didn't know about facial recognition, I want to get in on the ICO, I'm going to put that information below the video here. But what if someone is watching this, Morton, and they're interested in your project, they have an interest in like the blockchain, or they're maybe sitting here going, you know what, I think I can help Morton. I think I can help him with my skill set. How would they get a hold of you? And is that something that you would even be interested in, more people helping you?
They could just contact us via our email, and we'll get right back to them if they have the skills we could use for anything. And everything is more than welcome.
Okay.
To come in. We will hire people after the ICO also to make a big team that can present this. As you can see in the budget too, there are several programmers in each step.
Right. So I want to let everybody know, and not that Morton would necessarily know what I'm talking about, but there's a gentleman here in the United States called Cliff High, and he's an older gentleman, and he talks about cryptocurrencies and different ICOs and stuff. And one of the things that he said, and he has like a monthly report that you can buy, okay, it's like a subscription. And one of the things that he said last year, Morton, the summer of last year, and he's a computer guy. He's an older man that's in, and he said that what successful companies are going to start to do, they're not going to be all under one roof. Okay, it's not like you can walk down the hall and talk to all your employees. He said you're going to see computer companies and ICOs and those companies that understand the entrepreneurship of the crypto space is having people all over the world that work for you, but they're not necessarily in the same building as you. And it sounds like that's what you're doing right now, correct?
Exactly. That's exactly what we are doing at the moment. We are working with people all over the world, texting people and phone calls like now, and so on and so on. And it's a great way to work for someone. I know this guy. He is in Australia. He's a programmer, and he just travels around, does his programming for different companies, and then he can live anywhere in the world that he wants. I think for a lot of people that's a great opportunity to do these things.
Yeah, yeah. So last question here. Is there anything that maybe we haven't talked about or discussed that you want people to know about you or biometrics or facial recognition or the blockchain or just maybe something that we haven't talked about where like, I want to make sure that people know about this?
Well, you could read anything on our site. I think if there's something people should know that we have a very good product coming out with this identity solution, and we will if we succeed with these things, we are going to change the world.
Yeah. So if someone's interested, would the first step be for them just to maybe go to your website and sign up for one of your newsletters?
That could be one step.
Or just get on like your mailing list, not a newsletter, but like just get on your mailing list?
Yeah, exactly. They could go to our website and subscribe to our newsletter.
Okay, all right. So Morton Nielsen, founder and CEO of Biometrids, facial recognition on the blockchain. I appreciate really your time and your effort and that you haven't quit. So I appreciate that. Thanks for coming on this morning in the United States, and you're probably getting ready to have dinner pretty soon. We will have you back, Morton, but thanks so much for explaining facial recognition, a little bit about your background and biometrics.
Thank you very much for having me here, John.
Okay.
That's what it was great.
Yeah, thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.